Right. I believe everyone can see my screen as well. And now don't forget to also get access to the files. I have shared the files with you. It's under the this video on the chat area. Now let me send again. And share the link as well. Right, so you can get access to the files. Now let's begin with the lesson. First of all, before I start solving these questions, today we will try as much as possible to cover every topic that needs to be covered with respect to grade 11 paper 1 revision. Now, I'm going to have access to or open the scope or what you need to do so that you'll be ready for the end of this June examination. Now, the scope for this June examination for grade 11, the total mark, according to the ATP, is supposed to be 120 marks. So you must take note. Now, in most cases, the question 1 is Microsoft Word, which covers the font group, changing font, and then character spacing, which is also part of font, and then also small caps. Then questions will also be from paragraph settings, that is paragraph spacing before and after, indentation, special, that is hanging indent, and then also we have first line indent, line spacing, line and page break before, and then the tab stop. Then we also have styles, creating and then modifying styles and also applying styles to headings, find and replace the special and then the normal one, then format painter, multi-level list, table designs, word art in a specific page or just a word art, and then also placing a word art as a symbol. Text. Sorry, this one is watermark. It's not word art. Watermark on a specific page or making a watermark as a text symbol, and then image manipulations and word art. So basically, you need to know these mostly for question 1 or question 2. And then again, question 2 is also Microsoft Word, like the section break, using forms developer, paste special, inserting page numbers, odd and even page numbers, inserting objects, quick part field, layout, page setup like margins, the orientation, the size, the columns, and then inserting column breaks, line numbers, and then hyphen. Right. Or you can also get a question like inserting comment, and then also inserting smart art. Right. Now, question 3 is mostly spreadsheet, which covers the basic formatting. Basic formatting like merge and center, rep text, row height, changing the column width, and then also freeze pane, conditional formatting, autofill, data validation, functions like count if or count ifs, sum if function, today, large function, using small function, count A, count, blank, round, rand between, and then using wildcards to solve questions as well. Now, this is what you need to know regarding question 3. And then question 4, which talks about spreadsheet. For example, spreadsheet graphs, how to insert and then modify graphs. And then also certain formulas can also be there in question 4. Then calculating percentage increase, percentage decrease, discounted price, and then other calculations. You need to know them as well. Right. So basically, these are the things that you must know as a grade 12, grade 11 learners. Then question 5, for June examination, you need to know database table properties. That is changing the size, the field type, the input mask validation rule, required lookup index, also primary keys, setting a primary key, then table formatting, like alternate and then background colors, then grid lines, cell effect, for example, sunken or flat, sorting and deleting a record. Then you must also know how to import data into a table from spreadsheet. Right, now, you are also expected to know how to create queries and then sort using criteria, aggregate function, calculated field. Then also forms, how to modify or create a form, and then make certain changes in a form. You have to know it. For grade 11, term 2, you don't need to know anything about report. So this is the scope regarding the database. It's only table, form, and queries. There won't be any report. That will be the end of the year. Right. And then the question 6 is HTML. Question 6 will be HTML, which is hypertext markup language. And I believe most of you did this in grade 10 as well. Basic formatting in HTML, font, background colors, bullets, numbering, and hyperlink. Right, so inserting headings, and then bold, italic, and others. You must know some of these things. Now, there won't be any multi-level list for grade 11. And then also, when it comes to the last question, which is question 7, that one can be Microsoft Word, or it could be spreadsheet, or combination of both. Now, depending on how the question will be structured, developer, that is creating a form and editing forms, then using if statement or if function to do calculations in spreadsheet, and then as well as integration. That is maybe paste special, taking something from Microsoft Word and then inserting in spreadsheet, or taking data from spreadsheet and then you insert it in Microsoft Word. So basically, these are the things that you must know, grade 11 learner, before you do your practical examination. Right. Now let's take one question and then we go through all these topics. Then at the end of this section, the video will also be provided to you. Right. Now, if you have any question, don't forget to enter your questions there in the comment section, and then I will answer everybody's question. Remember, this is a revisions section. So any topic that as grade 11 learner you are struggling with, you need to tell me so that we will do them. We are going to break them step by step. Right. So I will begin with the first question, which is June 2018. So those of you, I've shared the link with you. When you open grade 11 practicals, The scope is there. And then I also gave you sample theory questions so you can check. You will see grade 11 theory, this one. You can open and then have access to a lot of theory questions as well to practice on. And then the rest are practical questions that you can also practice on. But then today we are going to focus on June 2018 question paper, and then which is similar to the other questions, so you can try your hands on them as well. Right, so I will begin with the question paper is also there. I will begin with the first question, which is Q1 history. Right, so I will start with the first question. It says, change the page or the paper size to A4, and then you change the top and bottom margin to 2 centimeters, set the gutter to 1 centimeter, and then the position to top, add a cover page. So now let's first talk about the page setup. Now, whenever you get that type of question, and then in examination, you try as much as possible to use the easier or the shorter or the shortest possible way to solve a question. Now, whenever you get a question that requires you to change the margin or that requires you to change the paper size or borders and shading, I'll urge you to use the ruler settings, or if you don't know where to find it, you can also use the search tool. In 2016, you will see what you call tell me what to do. So tell me what to do, you type the keyword there. Right, so here we are talking about margin. So you can just search for margin and then it will take you there. Right, I don't want to use that one for now, but then I'm telling you that that tip is very good, especially in examination whereby you get stuck. You don't know where to find that particular feature. Now, we are going to use the ruler settings. Now, if you don't know where the ruler is, you can go to view and then you take this ruler. Now you will see the calibrations here, which is the ruler settings. Now, when you double click anywhere inside the ruler, when you double click, it's going to give you the page setup. So take note. Whenever you are doing the first question, which involves the margins, just double click inside the ruler. It's going to give you the page setup. Now, from the page setup, we have 3 tabs here. We have the margins, we have the paper, and then we have the layout. Now, with regards to the margins, you can set up your margin. You can set up the orientation. Then the pages also, you can set up whether you want the mirror margin or you want 2 pages per sheet, and there are other options here. And then also, we have the paper, whereby we change the paper size to any of the sizes here, or you can see A4, A3, A5 as well. And then when you go to the layout, you can change the layout, header and footer, different odd and even pages, or different first page. Let's say the question says you are inserting page numbers and it says you must have odd number separated from even number. You just take under the layout different, odd, and even. Right, and then you can also have vertically center. You can get a question whereby they ask you to center the content vertically. Remember, the normal center is horizontal center. So if it says vertically centered, then you go to layout and then you choose vertical alignment center. So basically, you can get it under page setup. Now, again, you have line numbers. You can number the lines from the layout. You go to line numbers and then you choose add line numbers automatically, continuous, or start at each page. Now, when you choose continuous, it will number them, all the lines up to the last number of the page. Now, let me go again. Layout. If you want to choose the line number to start at each page. So you can see the first page, we have 32 lines. And then the second page, it will start numbering as well. So that's how we change the line numbers, right? Now, if you don't need it, you must just remove it. Good. So this is how we change various page setup. Just go to the ruler settings, double click, it will give you the page setup, and then you can change any of these. Please, this should be a bonus question for you. Every question paper that you are going to get from now up until end of the year, you'll get questions under page setup. Right, so now let's check our question again. Paper size to be A4. So we go to paper, and then the size should be A4. Then again, change the top and bottom margin to 2 centimeters. Still under page setup, we go to margins, and then the top should be 2 centimeters. We can use these arrows to change them. Or in examination, you have to use the shortest possible time. So we go to the bottom, just delete it and type 2. Right, they can ask you to change the left, the right, and this is what we call the gutter margin. Now the question says we have to change the gutter margin to 1 centimeter. You change it to 1 centimeter, and from top, which is the gutter position, you choose top. Remember, still under margins, you can change the orientations as well. Right, now if the question maybe ask you to insert what we call the a particular margin. So here you can see this is the margin. And if the question says insert a particular margin, all that you need to do is when you go to margins from search, you will see adjust margins. There are other margins like moderate, narrow, mirrored, and others. So you can get a question whereby they ask you to change the margin to any of these. So you have to select them as well. Right. So that's how we change our margins. Now we move to the next question. It says we should add the cover page at the beginning of the document as follows. We have to use the cover page called integral cover page. We have to replace the picture with a picture called one cover page. And then we change the title to Commonwealth Games, and then the subtitle to a brief history. So this one also, to insert the cover page, you just have to go to insert. You must click here, and then you get yourself a space. And then you go to insert cover page. And then there are different types of cover pages or examples. We have the facet, we have the integral. So this is what the question is looking for. You click on it. So this is the cover page that we need to insert. Right, now the cover page is also asking us to change certain things. The document title should be Commonwealth Games. So you change the title. Right, now you can also change the picture. They say we have to change the picture to one cover page. So how do we change a picture on the cover page? You just right click, and then you will see change picture. Then you select from this device, and then you go and select the picture. So this is the new cover page that we have. Please don't forget, if you have any question, you mention it so that I want to address it before I move to the next one. Someone is saying that I want to know if you can give basic tips because I only watch switch to CAT terms. Okay, no problem. You only switch to this term. So I'm going to start and make sure that we cover every single topic. Yes, I will use the basic ones as well. Right. Now, the next one says the subtitle should be a brief history. the subtitle. So you go to subtitle, then you type a brief history. Right. You type it inside the subtitle. And then the question also says we have to change or remove the control for the abstract. So we don't need to insert the abstract. We have to remove the control for the abstract. So what do we have to do? We go to abstract control and then we remove it. This is abstract. To remove means to delete. So you select the abstract together with this control and then you press the delete key. Right. We move to the next question. Insert your name and surname as the author. So the name and surname, this is the title, the course title, and here is the author. So we change this name and then surname. Right. So those of you who have computers, you can also do with me as well. Now, you change it. Now the next question says, we have to insert automatic page numbers as follows. Display in center of the footer and then start numbering from the second page of the document, and then it should be from numbering from 2 onwards. So like this one, you have to start from page 2 and then you number. You don't have to include the first page. Now, how do we insert page numbers? To insert page numbers, just double click at the bottom of the page. You can start with page 1 or page 2. Just double click at the bottom of that page, and then it's going to open the footer section and then the header section for you as well. So if the question says you must insert it at the top, you just go to the top. If it says at the bottom, you just go to the bottom of the page. Now, as soon as you go to the bottom of the page, you will see header and footer. Then when you take different first page, that means you don't want to number page 1. And then when you take different odd and even, that means you want to change the way the odd numbers should be numbered and the way the even numbers should also be numbered. So that's when you take different odd and even pages. Right, so now let's stick to this question. We are going to insert page numbers starting from page 2. So we have to take different first page so that we exclude the first page. Now, you click at the bottom of the page. From the header and footer, we have page numbers. Again, don't forget, they can ask you questions to insert date and time. So if you go to the footer section and the question says insert date and time, you click on date and time. And then the date and time update automatically. You can choose different format. So this is the current date. Now, again, they can also ask you to insert only the time. So when you choose date and time, then you select a time here as the format. You take update automatically. It gives you the current time. Again, date and time. You can also insert document info, like the author name. You can also insert document info like the file name. You can insert also from document info, file path. And then we can also insert still another header and footer, document info, document title, the title of the document. So if the question asks you to insert the title of the document, that's how we insert it as a field. Now, there are other fields that we can also insert. When you go to document info, you will see document properties like the abstract, like the comment, and all these properties, which we call it metadata, additional information of a file. Now, you can also insert a field. Like, for instance, if the question asks you to insert how many characters or how many words. So the field, you see number of words, and then you click OK. So here there is 4,132 words. So all this, you can insert it either in the footer section or the header section. That is when you double click the footer and then you see header and footer. Right. We can equally insert pictures there. And then we can also insert or change the header alignment. So you can do that as well. Right. Now, this is not what the question wants us to do. I wanted you to know what you should expect because it is part of the scope as well. Now, the question says we should insert page number. So we choose the page number. Now, don't forget, they can ask you a specific page number format. And all these are different page number formats. Like we have large 1, large 3, thick, line. We have the tiles, 2 bars. They are different. So the question can ask you what type of page numbers you should insert. Now, you can also insert page number as a page margins, not at the bottom. So don't forget. So let's choose this one. Now, let's say the question asks you to insert page number at the bottom, but it should be on the left. Then you mistakenly inserted in the middle. Just go to home and then choose left. That's the alignment. Then it will be sent to the left side. Right. Now, this is the second page, but it's going to number as 1. The first page is different first page. Now, the question says here it should start numbering as 2, but not 1. That's what the question says here. It should be in the center. Start the numbering from the second page of the document, numbering from 2 onwards. Now, here it says 1, so we need to change it. We are going to send it to the center. Now, how do we change it? We go back to header and footer, and then from page numbers, we have format page numbers. Now, when you go to format page numbers, you will see start at. Then you say start at 2. So now this one will be at position 2. And then the next page will be 3, 4, like that. So after you have inserted it, you now have to format it to determine what particular number should it start from. So that's all about page numbers. Now, different odd and even page numbers. Let's say you have inserted the page numbers. Now the question says, make the odd numbers to be on the left, even numbers to be on the right-hand side. Now, how do we do that? So when you have the bottom of the page, and then you take different odd and even. Now, as soon as you take it, that means you are going to separate the odd page numbers from the even page numbers. Now, it's going to show you this. When you go to the bottom of the page, it shows you the even page footer. Now, when you go to the odd number, it shows you this first page footer. Here, even page footer. Then the next one will show you odd page footer. Now, the odd page footer is still there, is 7 page 3. So we want to take this one to the left. You select, you go to home, and then you choose alignment left. And then you go to the even page footer. There is nothing there. So we need to insert it back by going to header and footer, page numbers, and then from the bottom, we choose the right one. So here, the even number is on the right-hand side. The odd number is on the left-hand side. All because we take different odd and even. So this is one of the most difficult questions regarding page numbers for grade 11s. They mostly struggle to do this. So that's how we insert page numbers. Right. If you have any questions, don't forget to insert. Yeah, somebody's asking, is the abstract always asked? Yes, they can ask you that to delete or maybe insert something inside the abstract. Right. So we move on to the next question. It says insert, or we are done with the page numbers. Adjust the heading 4 style as follows. Center the text and then adjust the paragraph spacing after the text to 12 pt. Apply the adjusted heading 4 style to all the heading 4 headings. Now, we are talking about the heading style. Now, if you want to exit the footer, you just double click inside the middle of the page and the footer will be gone. Now, the styles, you get the style from the home tab. Now you see style. There are different styles. We have heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4. You can also create a new style by going to create a style and then you put the name of the style. Let's say I want to create a new style called SirAntwi. And then I click on modify. Now, most of you will see the new style with an arrow and then you see new style. The one with capital A and plus, that is the icon for creating a new style. Then you type the name of the style. That is when you are creating a new style. The question will ask you based on which heading that you must choose and then what you should do. They can ask you to change the font, bold and underline, or choose another formatting like put a border around it. They can ask you to choose a border around the style. And then when you are done, you choose automatically update. So this style is created. So if I go to the gallery of the styles, I will see SirAntwi here. Right. Then you can apply the style to a heading. Now, this question is asking us to modify existing style. They didn't ask us to create a new one. So when you go to the heading style, then choose heading 4. How do we modify? You right click and then you see modify. Modify, that means make changes to it. Sometimes they can tell you to change the name. So you change the name here. Now, according to the question, it says we should center the text. That means alignment should be center. So we choose alignment center. Or if you don't find it here, you can just go to format and choose paragraph. You will see alignment center. And then they can ask you to change so many things here. Now, this question is also saying you must change the paragraph to 12 pt after. So paragraph spacing after we change it to 12 pt. They can ask you to change the line spacing or change the indentation. Then you click OK. Now, it also says we must adjust it automatically. That means we have to take automatically update and then click OK. So all the heading 4s will be applied automatically. Now, how do we see that the heading 4s has been applied? If you go to the style and then you right click on the heading 4 and then you select all, that means select all the data. It's going to select all the headings that they have applied heading 4 on it. Now, if I go back to the style and then I right click, I will see select all 8 instances. That means that they applied heading 4 8 times in this document. So that is how we do the heading styles. Right. We move on to the next question. Multi-level list, which sometimes we call it the outline numbers. Now, they said we should create a multi-level list to look like this, and it should be for 5 marks. Now, when it talk about the levels or the multi-level list, the first level is 1, 2, 3 with a bracket. So these are the first level. And then the second level, that is the second section or the one under the first level is 1.1, 1.2 or 2.1. And then the third level is 1.1.a. The fourth level is bullet with a circle bullet. So this multi-level, they had 4 different levels that you have to apply. Now that's how it is 5 marks. So the first level, when you choose it correctly, it's 1 mark. The second level, the third level, and then the fourth level. Then if you apply them correctly, you get the 5th mark. So if you set it and you don't apply, you are only going to get 4 out of 5 marks. Now let's see how we are going to do this question. We have the heading here. Second page, this content. So you select your list. And where do we get a multi-level list? We can get it under the paragraph group. Then you see bullets. Then the second one is numbering. The third one is multi-level list. Or you can use the search and type multi-level list. Now, always try to compare. If whatever that you have here, there is one in existing library that looks like that, you have to compare it. So here, when you go to multi-level list, we can see that this one looks like the list that the question is requiring us to choose. So you click on it. Now, after that, go back to multi-level list and then you choose define new multi-level list. Now, when you click on define new multi-level list, these are the levels. Remember, we have 4 levels. So we have to start with the first level. Now, the first level has 1, 2, 3 with a closed bracket. So here we have to be careful this side. Number style for this format is 1, 2, 3. That is the correct one. Now, when you go to enter formatting for numbers, it says 1 instead of 1 with a bracket. So we go there and change it. We delete the dot and then we put the closed bracket. Always you choose the starting number. Then we are done. We go to the second level. Check the second level. It says 1.1, 1.2. So it's the right one is 1.1. So we are fine with that, but there is no dot. So we delete the dot from here. Then the third level is this one, 1.1a and 1.1b. So we go to level 3. It gives us 1.1.1. Now we need the 1.1. Then the third one here, instead of 1.1.1, it's supposed to be 1.1.a. So we select the last number here. Then you go to number style for this level. We choose ABC with the small letters. But remember, there is no dot, so we delete the dot. So we'll be having 1.1.a. And then you go to the fourth level. So level 4 is bullet. So we go to number style for this level, and then we choose bullet. Remember, they can even ask you to choose a picture, or they can ask you to choose any of these levels, like first, second, third. So you must watch out for such type of questions. So here they are looking for bullet, which is the circular one. Now, if you don't see it, you can go to new bullet, then you choose the symbol or new picture. So we want this one. Right. We only have 4 levels, so we are done. After setting the levels, you are done. Now, sometimes the question can ask you to indent a particular level. So you change the indentation here. When you are done, you click OK. Now, it still gives us the first level. How do we apply them? To apply it, you can see that editions of the games are second level. It is the second level. So you click before editions of the games, and then you press the tab key from your keyboard. So the keyboard, you see the tab key that has two arrows, the forward arrow and then the backward arrow together. That's the tab key. So when you click on it or you press it, it takes you to the second level. If you make a mistake, you can use indent, decrease indent, and increase indent. Now, when I use increase indent, it goes to the third level. If I use decrease indent, it takes me back to the second level. Right. Now, let's check this again. British empires up to Commonwealth, they are all third level. So during the 20th century, the second level. So we click and then we can use increase indent. Now, from this British up to Commonwealth Games is the third level. So you select them together. You click on increase indent, or you can use the tab key. Increase indent, it goes to the second level. Increase indent again, it goes to the third level. But it's the fourth level. So increase indent again, then it takes you to the fourth level. Right. Then during the 21st century is also second level or the third level. So you click there, increase indent. And from pandemic or paraplegic games up until the youth games are also the fourth level. So you select them and then you click 1, 2, 3, then it goes to the fourth level. Right. So basically, this is how we apply the multi-level list. This is how we apply them. And then ceremonies and under it, opening and closing are all second level. So first of all, you need to define your new bullet style or the level styles, and then you now select and use either the increase indent or you can use the tab key to arrange them properly. That's how we do the multi-level list. So take note of that. Right. If there's any question, yeah, someone is saying page numbers is tricky. Yes. When we are done, I'll go over again. And then don't forget this video will also be available for us as soon as we are done. Right. But I'll go over them again. Now, 1.8, drop cap. You must also know how to insert drop cap. Now they say we must apply a drop cap in the first paragraph under the heading history of the games. And then it should be over 2 lines and placed 0.5 centimeters from the text. So we go to the history games. We want to apply drop cap here. So we click before the letter A, drop cap. Like I said, you can also use search, or you can use insert, then you see drop cap. Then you choose, there are 2 types of drop caps. There's margins one, as you can see there, and then there's drop one. Now you must go to drop cap options, and then you choose drop. Now, according to the question, it must be dropped over 2 lines and 0.5 centimeters. So lines to drop should be 2, and then distance should be 0.5 centimeters. Then click OK. So this is what the question wants us to do. Drop cap over 2 lines and 0.5 centimeters. Right, now we go to the picture. Somebody asked a question about the picture manipulations. I will deal with every single question regarding picture today. Insert the picture 1 opening ceremony at the correct location, and they have given you the screenshot. And then they said the size should be the height of 6 centimeters and then the width of 8 centimeters. Now, Note, this lines is not part of them. This border is not part, because the question is talking about the picture and also changing the height and width. Then again, changing the layout. Now, how do we insert the picture? We must insert it before the opening ceremony. So we have to insert the picture here. I will select it, and then I'm going to insert the picture this place. So I go to insert picture from this PC. Now I choose one opening ceremony. So this is the picture that we have. Now, the question says we have to change the size, and then the height should be 6 centimeters. The width should be 8 centimeters. So when you click on it, it gives you the picture format, or the lower version, you will see format. When you go there, you see the size. Click on the size, and then you will see the height and then the width. Please make sure that you tick or uncheck log aspect ratio. Why do we have to uncheck log aspect ratio? So that you get the right size that the question requires you to do. So we have to uncheck this, and then the height should be 6 centimeters. So you select this and type 6. Then the width should be 8 centimeters. And then you click OK. So this is the exact size that the question wants us to choose. So if you check here, you see the size, the correct size, 6 and then 8 centimeters. Right. Now, before I finish all these questions, but let me finish the question before I go through other options regarding the pictures. Now, let's look at how the picture was placed. It covers from opening ceremony up until this side against. Now, how do we change them like that? You have to go to the layout option. How do we change the layout option? You click on the picture, you see layout option, this one. When you go there, you must select the square or tight. That one will allow you to move your picture around. Right. So basically, when we change it like that, you go there, tight or square, and then it will place it exactly as the question requires you to do. Right. And then with a picture, you can also insert a picture border. Or this one, we can also insert like something like a border, which we call it text box around it. Now, if we were going to put text box around this whole thing, we go to insert shapes, and then you will see text box. Then you draw the text box around the picture and then the text. Now you can see our picture is now hidden. We choose also the layout option. Instead of us to choose this one, we choose behind text, so that the text box will be behind the text, and then we can see our text. Now with this, we can change this text box. We can change the outline by going to shape format, just like images, shape outline, the weight, we can change it. So like, let's say you see a screenshot like that, they put a text box and then they place the whole text together with the image around. Right. Now, still under image, if you click on this image and you go to picture format, they can ask you to recolor the image or correct it. There are different recolor and corrections. We can change them. We can also change the artistic effect. Each of them has a name and transparency. We can also equally remove the background. If I say keep changes, the whole background will be removed. Right. And then again, we have the picture style. You can put a border around the picture with a stretch. I want to use the lines around the picture. And then the picture border, I want a weight. And then picture border again, I want a specific color. So you can place a border around the picture by going to picture format. Then we also have picture effect. We have different effects that they can ask you to choose, like preset and others. And then we have the picture layout. To choose different layout, let's say you want to type a text together with a picture. You choose the layout, and then you can choose different colors. Colorful or any other thing. You know, a picture, then I will change it. Right. Still under pictures. You go to picture format. We can also equally change the direction, rotate the picture by flipping vertical or horizontal. You see, this is the normal picture. Just look at it. Now, if I go to rotate, and then I choose flip horizontal or flip vertical. So sometimes you must also observe it, whether they flip it or not. You can get a question like that. They can flip it as well. Right. And then we can also crop the image to a specific shape. Now, when I go there, and then I go to crop to shape, like a heart shape, or you can crop it to shape, like hexagon. So that's how we crop images to shape. Like somebody just asked that question, how we crop images to a specific shape. So we can do that as well. Now, we can also have, let's say with this image, then I insert again a shape. This star. And now I can equally change this star also to rotate, or I can crop it to shape by just the same shape. Now, when I have this, and then I want to combine these two as one object, or you can have images that you want to combine as one object. Must make sure that they all have the same layout option. So here I choose the layout to be also tight, and this is also tight. They must have the same layout option so that you can combine them as one. Now, if they have the same layout option, then you click on the first one, you hold down the control key, click on the second one, they will select them. Then after selecting all your images and objects, you remove your finger from the control key. And then you right click on any of the shape, then you see group. So now they become one. They become one. And then you can just change that shape, cropping to a specific shape that you want. Right. So basically, this is how we crop to shape and then we group. So images, watch out for these type of questions, how to group, how to crop to shape, and how to fill in as well. Right. Any question? If there's no question, I move on. So I've answered your question. The one that says we should show how to do images to shape. So that's how we change an image into a shape. Right, then I move to the next question, which says we have to locate the text winter games and place the text in a landscape page, ensure that all the other pages remain portrait, place these two paragraphs into two columns, add a line in between, and ensure that the youth game will always appear on top of the new column. I like this question also as well. Right. So we have to locate the winter games and then the youth game on page 9. We move to page 9. Right. Yeah, this is the page 9. And then they said we should place this in its or it should be on the same page from the winter games. From here, sorry, on page 9, we have to make sure that from winter games up until the youth games, up to this point, must be on its own page, and it should be landscape, the rest should be portrait. Then we place them into a column. Now, when you want a specific text to be on its own page so that you can change it to a landscape or portrait, you have to insert what we call section break. So in other words, we are going to divide this side from the rest of the pages. So how do we divide pages? To do that, you click on the last word of the other pages, or you can click before the youth game, and then you go to layout, you see breaks, and then you choose continuous section break. Now, when you click on continuous, and then again, we go to where it is ending, like according to this question, it must end on page 10. It starts from the youth. Let's check the question again. No, it starts from the winter game up to the youth. So I must place it here before the winter game, layout, breaks, and then I choose continuous. Right. And then where it is ending, it's ending here. I go again to breaks, and then I choose continuous. So I have separated this one from the rest of the pages. How can you see whether you have separated it? When you go back to home and then you click on show or hide, you will see the continuous break here. And then it is also here. The section break continues. Now, after this, then I can only put this one on a landscape. So I click here and then I go to page layout, orientation, landscape. So you can see only that page has been divided into landscape. Yeah, it's supposed to end here. I think there is a continuous also here. Let me remove this. Only the youth up until this side must be one page. Right, so I've separated it. So only this side must be on landscape. There we go. So you must always make sure that you don't have any breaks. So I only have from winter games up until the youth to be on landscape. The rest of the pages are on portrait. And you can only do this by using the section break. You can only do this by making use of section break, right? So I'm going to just show you how I did it. I will just go and redo. Yes, you click before the winter games, then you go to layout, breaks, and then you choose continuous. Then you go to where that page is ending. It's ending here. I go again, layout breaks, continuous. So now I have section break ending here, and it's also starting there. So I can now select that page I want to place as landscape. And then I go to layout, orientation, landscape. So only that page will be landscape. The rest of the pages will be portrait. So that's how we place a particular page to be landscape and other pages to be portrait, right? Now, after that, the question says we must put this one in column, 2 columns. So we select them. And then we go to column from layout. If you don't know where to find columns, we can equally use search and say columns, more columns. And then we choose 2 with a line between and OK. Now, there are 2 columns, but the question says the youth game must be on top of the second column. But you can see the youth game is on top of is still in the first column. So to move this one to the top of the second column, we have to apply what we call the column break. Then how do we place the column break? You click before the youth games, and then you go to layout breaks. Then you see column, which is column break. Now the youth game is on top of the second column, right? So then we have it as is in this example. And let's see the number of marks there. The allocated mark is 5 marks. So it needs a lot of steps before you can do this, right? We move straight to the 1.11. Find the bulleted list, and then we replace the bullet with a picture as shown there. Now there's a bullet given to you. We are changing this bullet as a picture. So you select them. From home, you will see bullets and numbering. If you don't know where to find it, just go to search and type bullet. And then you choose define new bullet. Then we want to insert a picture. They can also ask you to insert a symbol as a bullet. So we go to picture. From 5, then we select 1 bullet. Right. So basically, this is how we solve the question 1. Now we move straight to question 2. Microsoft Word again, which is talking about tables and then a form. So after we are done with question 2, then we would have covered the entire Microsoft Word. Then we can move to spreadsheet. Spreadsheet for grade 11 is not much. There are few topics, but most of the topics are in Microsoft Word, and then few will be database. Right. I start with question 2. That's 2.1. So I need to close this. So question 2. Right. Add a row at the top of the table as indicated. Now, we have a table here, and we have to add a row at the top, and then we type this text inside. So we click there. And how do we deal with tables? When you select a table, it will give you the table design and table layout. Now we are going to add a row above it. So we go to table layout, and then you see row above. So it gives us a new row. Then we must type XXI Commonwealth Games 2018. So we type it. Commonwealth Games 2018. Now you can see Games 2018 is below, so we have to press enter. Now we must center it. So to center, you go to table layout, then you click here, center vertically and horizontally. Now we can also change the direction. If the question requires you to change the direction, you will see text direction. Now to shade, you can see that it has been shaded. So here it says center the heading and change the row height so that the word art can fit in the row. Now, there was this one here that we needed to put inside. So how do we do that? Whenever you want to fill in, you go to table design, you can fill in with the color of your choice. And then again, still under table design, they can also ask you to place the borders around the table. So you have to watch out for that type of questions. But let's finish our question, then we'll talk about them. It says shade the top row in a light blue. We have done that. Place a dark blue border of 3 pt around the outside of the border. And then the red 1/4 pt inside the table. So to do this, you select the table. In order to select the entire table, click on this selecting tool. This one, when you click on it, it will select the entire table. Now, shading and then putting a border, you go to table design. Now, from table design, you choose the line that you want to use. We choose the thickness, which is 3 pt. We choose the color. According to the question, it should be dark blue. So we choose the pen color to be dark blue. Now, after that, we go to borders and we choose outside. So that will be the outside border. Then we go again. The line is there, but then the thickness will be 1/4. And then the color should be red color. No, they say it should be 2/4 pt. Yeah, this one. 2/4 pt, and then the color should be red color. So you choose red color. Now, the moment you select red color, you go to borders and choose inside borders. So that one will be the inside borders. The outside border is blue. So that's how we place borders inside and outside. Right. For 6 marks. Now, I want to show you again under the table layout. They can also ask you to sort, split, merge, and then also change the properties. Let's say we want to change the entire properties of the table. If you select the table, then you right click on the table. You will see table properties. And then you will see center. That is where you center the entire table. Then we also have auto fit for the table. We have auto fit content and then auto fit to window. They can ask to change the auto fit as well to content or auto fit to window. Right. And then again, they can ask you to repeat the header rows so that the heading will repeat if you have more of this. If you have more of these lines and it goes to the next page. Let's say this table goes beyond this heading, then the header rows will be there. Right. Again, we can have a formula to do the calculation. Let's say we have to do calculations here. I want to do calculations. Now, to do calculations, you go to table layout and then you will see a formula. So you go there and then you type. Sum above means you are adding. So here we want to count. You just say equal sign is already there. You say count above. Now you can also count to the left or count to the right. So in a table of Microsoft Word, we use above, left, or top, or right, instead of or below. Instead of A1 or B1, we use above, left, right, or below to do the calculations. So here it gives me 11. Right. We can also convert the table to text. Now the table has now been changed to a text as a tab. Now, if I want to take it back to a table, I go to insert table, then I choose convert table to text, and then I can now insert it like tabs, and then it gives me the right one, right? So basically this is what we convert table to text. Now, one other important thing about table that you must take note, recently that they started asking these questions, is about table layout, which talks about cell margin, the spaces in between different cells. You go to cell margin, and then you see allow cell between, let's say 1 centimeter. Then you are going to have the cell margin like this, the spaces in between different cells. Right. So this is how we solve questions regarding a table. Now let me check from the comment section if there's any question. Yeah, someone said watermark on a selected page. How do we group pictures? I just showed it. You can watch the video again, but if we still have time, we are going to also talk about it. Now the picture, also the caption, alternative text. Yes, you can also put alternative text to a picture. I will show you as well. And then the watermark on a specific page. That one is, I will also show you, but it is only for grade 12. But then I will show the grade 11s as well. It's mostly for grade 12. Grade 12, grade 11 maybe for end of the year that they will ask that type of question. But for June, they normally ask a simple watermark. But then when we get there, I will show you text watermark as well. Now, so I'm going to talk about the picture, caption, and alternative text. Let's say you have this picture. Now, when you select the picture, like I told you, you see picture format. Now, from the picture format, you see alternative text for accessibility. Then you can type the alternative text inside here. So here, they put the alternative text as 2018 Commonwealth Games.svg. So they can ask you to type alternative text. That is mostly for accessibility, those who struggle to see how the image looks like. Now, and then the caption for the image, also you right click, you see insert caption. And then you know your pet, you must always insert caption for the images. You right click, you choose insert caption, and then you choose whether it's a figure or not. So figure 1, then you type what the figure is all about. Right. So that's the caption. Now, that's all about images and then also tables. Now we move straight to 2.2. Add a field below the table to display the name of the file. Like I told you now, the name of the file is a field. Now this question says we must add a field here to display the name of the field. So it says insert field here. So when you select it, they are talking about field. So what do? You must use the keyword field. But the normal way to do it, you must go to insert, and then you'll find quick path. Quick path is a part of the text. And then you see field. Then they are asking for name of the file. So you look for file name. It has been arranged alphabetical order. So we have file name. It could be file size and the rest. So file name, whether uppercase or lowercase, the question will tell you. Sometimes they can also ask you to add the path to the file, and then you click OK. Again, if they are talking about failed, you go to search and use the keyword failed. It's going to give you insert failed. That's the shortcut. And then you now look for the file name. So here, if I'm going to display the file size, and then I click OK in megabyte. So the file size in megabyte is 0. Now, if I choose the file size as a field, file size in kilobyte. So this is the file size in kilobyte. So there are different fields that the question can ask you to insert. So you can use the search tool there, or you go to insert, then you go to field. That's the easier way of doing it. Right, we move to the next question. Set and apply a tab stop 9 centimeter with a solid leader line to align the form control as indicated below. Now you can see here, the form has been aligned at 9 centimeters. Why do we need a tab stop? It makes you to arrange or format your work in a consistent way or a proper way. Last year, there was a question like that in theory, whereby they asked learners the use or the function of a tab stop. So to arrange them properly. Now, it says 9 centimeters. So let's go back and check our form. Here is the form. So you select the entire form. Remember, it ends at sports. There's another one there, so the officials must also be below. You select them, including the name. Now, how do we insert a tab stop? To make it easier, I'm going to use the ruler settings. Remember at the beginning of the lesson, I showed you how to use a ruler setting to get to the page setup. Now, I'm going to show you how to use a ruler setting to get to a tab stop. Now, identify the tab stop. They said 9 centimeters align with a solid leader to the left. You go to 9 centimeters, just below the 9 centimeter. Don't click in the middle. If you double click in the middle, it's going to give you the page setup, which is wrong. It should be below. So you go under the 9 centimeters below, double click. That is where you get a tab stop. Now, the tab stop should be 9 centimeters. And then it should be left with the leader. So you choose the line, which is the leader, and then you click on set. Then OK. Now, when you set it like that, from name, when you press the tab key, it takes you to 9 centimeters. From send name, you press the tab key, it takes you to 9 centimeters. Cell phone number, also address, sports, and this one also. Then again, the officials. So all of them have been arranged properly to 9 centimeters. It makes it easier. That's the tab stop. So you can see it as we have here. Right. There's another tab stop. So you can see this tab stop is like L. We call it left tab stop. When you see L to the other side, it is the right tab stop. L that has been turned to the other side is right tab stop. When you see a tab stop like T that has been turned upside down, it is center tab stop. And then we also have a bar tab stop. Now, let's say, so this is L. This is also left. Now, let me go to 14. Now, if I go here, this 14, and I make it center, you can see center tab stop, like T. And then we also have right tab stop. Now there's also a bar tab stop. Let's say I want to change the 9 centimeter to bar tab stop. When I select bar and then I click on set. Okay. Now it gives me a line. So the bar tab stop is a line. Just one line. So I could have solved this question by also using the bar tab stop. When I select, I go to 9 centimeters. A bar tab stop and set. Now you see a one line in between. So if I press here and I go under the bar using the tab to place them behind the bar. Right. So basically, this is how we place a bar tab stop. So watch out for that. There are different tab stop that the question can ask you to also do. So you must take note. Now we go to the form. Add an appropriate form field for the text name. Now, whenever you are inserting a form, we use developer tool. Now, if you don't see developer, you go to file, but then learners, educators must make sure that they set up the developer for you. It should be there. Otherwise, you go to insert or file, and then you go to options. Then you will see customize ribbon. Then you go and tick developer. So when you tick developer, then you click OK. You will see developer tool. So we use developer to create a form. Now, when you go to developer, the text form field, you'll find a text form field, which is legacy tool. Under the controls, legacy tool, and you choose the text form field. You double click on it, it's going to give you the text form field, whereby you can change the properties. Now you can see name is a text, and let's say the name should be 25 characters. You type 25 if the question says so. And if the format says the first letter should be capital, you choose first capital and OK. So if I double click and type my name here, inside the default text, it will be there, and then the first letter will be capital, even though I type it a small letter. Right. The next question says, add an appropriate form field control next to the cell phone number, and it should be maximum of 10. So cell phone number should also be a text form field. You go to legacy tool, text form field. And the cell phone number should be number, unless it is database that it should be text. But then for the form, you make it number, and then the number of characters should be 10. The next question, add the item athletics and swimming to the drop-down form field next to the word sport. Now we need to add drop-down is a list. So when you double click, we want to add swimming, you type swimming, and then you press enter. And then you type the next sports, which is athletics. You press enter. So now if they say athletics should be the first one, we use the move to take it to the top so that it should be the first one. And then you click OK. Remember, they can also ask you to add the help text. So when you click on add help text, then you can type the help text, choose only one. So that will be the help text added for you. Right. So basically, this is the form that you need to know regarding the grade 11 content. Now, they can even ask you to do calculations. Let's say we have amount. And then we insert an amount, which is the text form field. Then amount is currency. So currency is always a number. Then you change the format. If it is in rent, you put R there. So that's the amount. So if I type 5,000 rand, inside the default number is going to come with the arrow symbol. Now, let's say I want to do calculations. To calculate the VAT. Now, if I want to calculate VAT, which is also text form field, and now, because I'm going to calculate VAT, I must change it to calculations or calculation. Then I'll put the calculation here. Now, before you do the calculation, go and check the amount. What is the bookmark name? Remember, in a text form field, we used bookmark name to do the calculations instead of the name of the cell that we have in spreadsheet. So here the bookmark name is text 7. So we are going to use text 7 to do the calculation. When we choose calculations, then we type text 7 times 15%, which is 15 divided by 100. And then the format should be R. Okay. So here it gives us the 15% of this amount. And that is what we use calculations to do that. We can do so many calculations here in a form as well. Now we also have checkbox. You can insert checkbox. If you are to insert a checkbox, you just go to text form field checkbox. Now, if this checkbox, you want it to be checked, you take check. And if you want to change the size, you can change the size as well. Right. So basically, this is all about form. Now, when you are done with the form, remember you'll be doing this form for your pet phase 2. When you need to create a questionnaire, you'll be using this form. Now, when you are done with the form, you need to make sure that people cannot delete your form because they are going to fill in the form. So you have to do what you call restrict editing. So you go to restrict editing from developer, and then you choose allow this only, and then you select filling in the form. Then you click on yes, start enforcing. You don't need to put password, and you click OK. So as you can see here, if I try to delete name, it's never going to allow me to delete it. But I can change the name here. I can fill the form, but not to change anything from the document. So that's the restriction, unless you remove the protection. That's the form. Right. So we are done with question 2. Now, we move straight to question 3, which is spreadsheet. So basically, let me check question 7 if there's any Microsoft Word before we go to spreadsheet. We won't spend much time in spreadsheet and database. All right, so this question was only talking about table. We talked about table already. And then here, how many paragraphs appear in this document. So whenever you have all this, you have to use what is the first word that appears in line 15. You must put the line numbers. Who is the author? Add a password to the document. So here, this type of question, the getter position. What's the getter position? How many paragraphs are there? So if you want to know the number of paragraphs, you have to check the information. How many occurrences of the letter C in uppercase appears in the document? You have to also check the properties and the lines. Let's say we have this document and you want to check the properties. You use the file info. File, and then you go to info. It's going to give you all the document properties, the size, the pages, the number of words, time editing, the title, and others. You can also change the author as well. Now, let's say you want to see other options. You go to show all properties. Now, when you go to show all properties, it's going to give you all the properties. The total editing time, the comment, the status, the subject, and the rest. Right. So you will see them under the properties. You can also check for any issues. That is to inspect the document or to check accessibility issues or to check compatibility issues. They can ask you to check for any hidden properties. So you can change the hidden properties and inspect. So it's going to inspect everything for you. Then you can remove them. All of them are under properties. Now, if you want to see how many words, you can also use the field and then you get a number of words as well. Right. So basically, that is all about Microsoft Word. Now we move straight to spreadsheet, which is question 3. And we will talk about the basic formatting, doing functions. Spreadsheet, the functions are not many. So we will talk about them. If we don't have enough time today, we will also extend it to tomorrow. And then tomorrow we focus on database and HTML. Right. It says format the table as follows: merge and center. Merge and center. Like by before that, let me check any question. Yeah, somebody is saying, are you ready? Yes, you are ready. Yes, I can post this. I will post them immediately after the lesson. This one will be there for you. You can also practice them. Now, let's move straight to the one doing practicals tomorrow. Please, you'll be ready because I'm covering everything. You watch the video as well. Right, let's try and do the spreadsheet merge and center. I'm going to open the spreadsheet Q3 medals. Spreadsheet for grade 11 is not much as compared to grade 12. Now it says we should merge and center from A1 up until H1. So you select A1 and then you highlight up to H1. And then you will see merge and center. Now I want to make it easier for you to merge and center or to do any formatting. After you have selected, right click, you will see format cells. Format cells. So format cells will give you the number format. It will give you the alignment format. It will give you the font, border, fill, and protection. So any formatting part, you can do them here. Just right click and choose format cells. So merge and center is part of alignment. Then you choose merge cells and then you center also horizontally and vertically. Again, they can ask you to also change the indentation. They can ask you to change the rotation as well. Right. Then you can also drag as well to change it. Now let's check the next question. Use the font type Broadway 20 PT. Again, to change the font, you can get it here, or you can just right click and change it to format cells. Then you see font. Then you type the name of the font, Broadway. It's going to give you. And then again, the font size should be 20 PT. You change the size to 20. And then okay. So when you right click and see format cells, you can easily get there, or you can use the search and type format cells. Then you take you there. Right. The next question says change the height to 50 PT. Now we are going to change this height. This is the row 1. You right click on the row number and then you see row height. Then we now change it to 50 and click OK. So that's how we change the row height to 50 PT. Now remember, we can also change the orientation from alignment. You see counterclockwise. We see counter angle clockwise. We see rotate up, rotate text up, and then rotate down. Right. So we can do that as well. Then merge the cells or fill in the merge cell with a light blue color. Again, right click, format cells, or you can use the search. They are saying fill in. You go to fill, and then you choose the blue color. So when you do this, this is the basic one. You always get the first part of the questions whereby you must format your cells. Ensure that all the data in column B are visible. This is column B. How do we ensure that they are fully visible? You can use rep text also. Then they are fully visible. You see everything. Or you can widen it so that everything will be shown. So that's how we use the fully visible. Now, make use of the following calculations. In G4, the total number of medals won by Australia. Now, whenever you see total together with the word number, I would like you to take note. Whenever you see total together with a number, we have to use a function called count. If you see only total, we use sum. So you must know how to differentiate between the two. Total number or just a number, we use count. When you see only total, we use sum. So now G4, the question says we must find the total number. That means we have to count for Australia. Oh, here the numbers are given to you. So we need to add them. This question wanted the total. So it should have been the total for all these gold and medal. So we use sum. Equal sign. You start typing sum, S-U-M. You will see it here. Double click on it. Go to FX. Then to give you the function argument, then you select it and click OK. So this is the sum or the total. Then the next question, most number. Whenever you see most, say E5, most gold number. Whenever you see the word most, meaning you must use a function called highest, which is the maximum one. Which one is the most, the biggest one? So use max. We use max, which is equal sign max. Double click on it, and then you select the values. Let's check whether gold or it said the most number of gold medals won. Yes. So we select the gold medals. And then you click or you press enter. Second most, we use the function called large. Whenever they say second, third, or fourth, we use large function. So we say equal sign, large. Double click on FX. Click on the FX also from the formula bar. And then when you see the array is the same as range. So the second most silver medal, you select the values under silver, and K, because they are saying the second, so K will be 2. That's the second most. So it's going to be large, E4 to E13, that's the list, and then comma 2, meaning that the second. If you choose comma 3, it means the third most. So that's how we do it. Now the least amount, when you say the least, that's the smallest one, we use the function called small. And then bronze medal. So we select the values under bronze. Don't forget to click on FX. And K, where it says K, because they are looking for the smallest, which is the least, K will be 1. If they say the second smallest, K will be 2. If they say the third smallest, K will be 3. Right. Then the next question says we must calculate the average of the total medals for the 10 countries. And then we use a function to round it to know decimal place. For 4 marks, grade 11, watch out for these type of questions. Whenever they ask you for average, they will always ask you to also round it. Now, you are allowed to solve them step by step. You can just start by creating average here. by saying equal sign average so average of the total medals, you select the medals, you press enter. So this is the average. Now, after getting your average, we are going to use a function to round this. How do you round it? You just say equal sign round. We have round down, round up. Now, when you say round down is whenever the decimal place is maybe 889,2 or 5 or even 6 is going to make it to be 889. But round up to the next integer. But the normal round, when the decimal point is up to 5, from 1 to 4, it will truncate it. But if it's from 5 and above, it will take it to the highest value, the next highest value. So here we use round, and then you click on your value. Don't forget to click on FX, then the number of digits, they say 0 decimal place, we put 0. So this one will round it. So first of all, insert your average next to it. Then you come and use equal sign round. Click on FX. Where it says the number, click on your number and number of digits 0. So that it will round it to 0 decimal place. Right. Let's check the next question, which is if statement. So basically watch out for this: large, small, count if. We will talk about count if also, and then if statement. That's all about spreadsheet. Now, this is if statement. They say add a function in cell H7 to write a comment as you see there. Now, if the gold medals, the total is more than or equals to 150, the comment should be top 5. If it is less than 150, we should leave it blank. Now, how do we solve this? We are going to put the formula here. This says if it is less than 150, we leave it blank. So we can choose any way. So you say equal sign if. Double click on your FX and click on this FX as well. So the logical text, click on the value given to you. Then the value if true. The logical text says G7. When G7 is less than 500, let's check again. No, you say when it's less than 150. We should leave it blank. Leave it blank, meaning that you press the space. Otherwise, that is when it is not less than 150, we type top 5. So if it is only 2 conditions, you need to use only one if statement. When there are 3 conditions, we use 2 if statements. So take note of that. Now, so this is 2 conditions. That's why I used 2 or 1 if statement. If G7, the value in G7 is less than 150, comma, leave it blank, meaning that 2 inverted commas. Otherwise, we type top 5 there. Right, that's how we insert if statement. Now, let's say there are 3 conditions, meaning you have to use 2 if statements. I'm going to show you whereby there are 3 conditions, and then you use 2 if statements. Let's say we have a table like this. And then they have given you 3 conditions. So condition 1 is when it is less than 150. Okay, let me say less than 100. We put the message called bottom 5. And then when it is from 100 to 150, we say leave it empty. And then when it is greater than 150, we say top 5. So as you can see here, we have 3 conditions. That means we need 2 if. We will have to use one if function for this one. That's the first if. And then we have to use one if function here. The one in the middle that has the dash, or sometimes they can say between 100 and 150. When you see this, you must run away from that one. That will be the third obvious choice that doesn't need if statement. So here we need the if statement for only the one that makes it easier. That's less than and then the greater than one. The one that says between or you have the dash, leave it. Now let's do that question. How do we solve this? You say equal sign if, click on FX. So logical text will be G7. So when G7, like I said, it should be less than 100. So you start with that one first. G7 less than 100. Then we put the message called bottom 5. Now when you go to value if false, you open the second if statement. Now the moment you open the second if statement, you must open the bracket. And then when you open the bracket from the formula bar, you see bracket open and close. Go and click inside it. Then it gives you the logical text. Now inside the logical text, you go to that logical text, the second one. That's the same G7 greater than 150. And then the message should be top 5. Otherwise, that's the last part. We leave it empty. You press the space bar. And that one will be the one that says 100 to 150. You leave it empty and you click OK. So you are going to get your answers right. Some will be top 5. Some will be bottom 5. So if I type here 100, it's going to give it empty for me. Right. Basically, this is how we do if function when it is more than 2 conditions. So grade 11, take note of that. It could be more than 2 conditions or only 2 conditions. Now we move straight to the next question. That says we should sort the data in ascending order. How do we sort this data in ascending order? Based on the rank. You select the data. Including the headings. And then the sort, you can use the search and type sort, or you can use sort from home tab, and then you say my data has headers, and then you choose the rank in ascending order. That means smallest to largest, and then OK. So that's how we sort. Then the next question says make use of a function in B2 to insert a date that will update automatically. And then the date should have that format. So we go to B2. The date to display automatically, we use today. Equal sign today, you double click and press enter. It's going to give you today's date. Now, when you use now, it gives you today's date and time. Now, if you are changing the format, again, you right click, format cells, then you go to number format, go to custom, then you change the format here. Now, how do we change the format? You can see it has the day, which is only 2 numbers. So we type 2D followed by dash. And then April is written in full. So month is 4M if you want to write in full. And then dash the year 4Y. Now, if you want to type the day again as a full day, you type 4D. So here if I open it, then you see Sunday written in full because of the 4D. Right, so that's all about the spreadsheet. Now the next one is all about graphs, how to change graphs, and then also to do specific calculations, the total cost for every. So we are going to look at question 4 and see if we will be able to go to database as well. Now, question 4, if it is all about graphs, this question wanted us to create a graph, as you see, with the heading. So we are going to open Q4 participants. So we are going to create a graph like that. You just select them and then you go to insert, then you choose graph. There are various graphs there. So you select the graph that you want to choose. Now, you can see that this one is also giving me as numbers. So you have to be very careful the years. So it's giving 2 numbers as a combo graph. So you have to be careful. This year can be a text. You can make it a text so that things become easier for you. So if it's giving you the numbers again, then you need to change it to be a text. Otherwise, you are not going to get it right, because it should be the 1970s and others. They should be the different numbers. So they shouldn't give you, so we can change it. We don't need that one. They should be the different ones that you can change. Now you can also select the data. If it's giving you a problem, we don't need the year. Right. And these ones can also be edited. So you see the year is not there. You select data again. This series here, instead of 1, 2, 3, we can edit them and select the years, so that to have the years as your horizontal axis, and then these ones will be the numbers. Right. So basically, this is the trick or the technique. Now, if you want to change this graph into another shape, when you right click on it, you go to format data series, then you can change it to pyramid or a cone. Now, when you go to fill, you see the fill option, and then you see there's a portion that says the colors should be the automatic. Then you can choose these very or different colors. But because there are too many, that's why it's giving you this. Right. So basically, for the data sheet, you can change this one also, the graphs, and change various graphs. All that you need to do is you look at what the question wants you to do. Now the data labels, you must insert data labels. You go here and take data labels. The data labels will be displayed. The most graph must have different color. So the one that has the biggest one must have different color, which is 72. So you just double click to select, and you right click and choose fill. Then you can choose different color for that one as well. So basically, that's how we deal with that. And you can also change the colors and everything. Now let's go to the calculations, where it says calculate the prices in South African rand using the exchange rate given in J1. Now, there's J1, a currency there, and these values are in dollars. So we need to convert it from dollars into rand. So this J1 value, you must give it a name. You right click and choose define name, so that you can give it a specific name. So if I give it a name as A, so that it doesn't change. Now I go to this side, say equal sign. I'm converting this 80 to South Africa rand. So you click on the value, and we know that the dollar value is more valuable. So you say multiply. Multiply by the South African rand value. Then you can autofill it. Right. And then the next question says, copy it down. We have done that. Use a spreadsheet feature to fill the cells in column F with a pink if the ticket limit is less than 8. Now, column F, you select the values in column F. Now, the spreadsheet feature to highlight or to fill, we call it conditional formatting. So we go there, conditional formatting. And then you go to highlight rules, less than what value? 8. Then we can choose the color, pink color. So you go to custom format, fill, and we choose a pink color. Now I think we don't have pink color here. That is more pinkish, so I can choose purple. Right. So there are different types of conditional formatting given to you that you can do questions on them. Now, add a function in B23 to calculate the total cost in dollars if you attend every one of the finals. Now, we are doing the calculation in B23. So we have B23 here. The total cost. So when you say total cost, that means sum with a condition. Sum with a condition. So it will be the sum if. Sum if. You click on FX. Then the sum range. The question says should be the dollar values. It said the total cost if you attend every one of the finals. So we select the column C for the dollars. And then the criteria one, the criteria. When you talk about criteria, where are we picking the values from? That's the finals in column B. And what are we looking for? Oh, sorry, I changed them. The first one says the range. When you talk about the range, where we are picking the values from, which is column B. And then the criteria. Whatever that you have selected here, we are looking for those who went to finals. So we can type finals, or we can type F star. F star meaning that begin with letter F. So here we can type F asterisk. And then the sum range, where we are adding them. They say the column C. So the sum range will be column C. And then you click OK. So that is the sum if. Now here it said the number of prelims. Number of prelims. That means those who chose prelims here. We have to use count because it said number. We have to use count if. So equal sign, count if. You click on FX. So the range will be column B. Criteria, we are looking for prelims. So you can type prelim. So we got 9. Alternatively, you can use wild cards also. Instead of how to say prelims, we can just say star P star. That means it contains letter P. It contains letter P. So we can use asterisk to also extract the records. Star P star, that means contains letter P. Now, number of sporting coats with no price for a child. No price for a child. Those who didn't select any price, we use count blank. Count blank. Count blank spaces. Count blank spaces of column E. right? Or we could have also used count if, equal sign, count if, then the range will be column E, and then the criteria will be blank space. That means space, you press the space bar. So here we got 0 because there was no space there. So we can close that space, and then we got a 6, right? So we can equally use count if to get the count blank values as well, right? Now let's check other questions that are available. Yeah, I think we are done with the questions. And then the question 7 also do not contain any spreadsheet. Now, so basically, this is all about spreadsheet that you must know: the count if, the count ifs, and then the ranking as well. They can ask you questions based on the ranking. We say rank between. If you say rank between, to get random numbers, let's say rank between 1 and 10, it will generate random numbers between 1 and 10, right? Then also for spreadsheet autofill, and we also have what we call the free span. When we talk about free span, let's say we want from row 1 and 2 to always to remain on top, so that row 1, 2, 3 to always remain on top. We move to the next row, which is row 4, and then we select free span, and then we click on free span, so that row 1 up to 3 will always remain on top, right? Also, my grade 11 data validation, you are supposed to know it in grade 11 term 2, data validation. Let's say we want to have a lookup to display either prelims or finals. So I type prelims, and then I type finals here. Now, when I have these two, I can have autofill with it, or what do you call it, the lookup for it. So I select these values if I want to apply lookup, and then I go to data. I will see data validation. Now, from data validation, where it says allow any value, I choose a list. Then the source, I click on the arrow to go and select the prelims and final. Then when I click OK, all these will have different options to select from. So that is what you need to know regarding grade 11 spreadsheet. There is no subtotal for June. Take note of that. Right. Let's try and wrap up with the database. Database for grade 11 is not much. So I just want to make it easier for you. Now we go to question 5. Database 5 medals. Let me open it. Q5 medals. Now, database, you'll be asked questions on table, query, and then also form or only those one. There's no report in grade 11. Now, it says work in the competitors table. Now, whenever you are dealing with database, this is the table. We can grade 10 or grade 11, watch out for this. They can ask you to change the row height. And how do we change the row height? You just right click on any of the row, and then you see row height. So we can change it to, let's say, 30 or 35. Then you can have a row height, right? They can ask you to also sort ascending by a column. Let's say we are sorting according to surname. You click on the arrow next to surname, and then you choose A to Z. Then again, they can ask you to change the text formatting. Remember, database also, you can use tell me what to do, or you can use the text formatting. So under the text formatting, you click on that arrow. They can ask you to change the cell effect, let's say to raise or sunken or flat. They can ask you to remove maybe the horizontal lines, change the background colors or alternate background color. So watch out for this. That's the first part of question that as grade 11 learner, you must expect. They can ask you this. They can also ask you to change the field properties. How do we change the properties? We change the properties by going to design view. Now, you go to design view by right-clicking on the table, and then you see design view. Now, like this question, it says, insert a new field called number before the full name. We are going to insert a new field called number before the full name. So it is going to replace the full name. I have to right-click on the full name, and then you choose insert rows. So there will be a space for me to type the word number. And then the number cannot be short text. It should be number, obviously. Now they say the data type should be auto number. I choose auto number. And make this field the primary key. How do we make it the primary key? You right click and choose primary key. Right. Now 5.1.2, change the properties of the full name as followed. The field size should be 35 and it should be in capital letters. This is full name. When you click on it, it gives you the properties. And according to the question, you must change the field size to 35. You delete 255 and then type 35. And it should be in uppercase, meaning we should make it uppercase. We choose greater than inside the format. We choose greater than inside the format. Now it says change the properties of the country field to ensure that the field cannot be left blank. Anytime you see this one cannot be left blank, meaning that required. So the country field, you click on it and you choose the required yes. When you choose the required yes, it means it cannot be left blank. It must be entered. 5.1.4, change the data type of the sports field so that the people can choose from. Please, whenever you see the people can choose from, meaning a list, options to select from. Now, how do we choose the list? So we go to the sports field, option to choose from. The data type will be lookup wizard, lookup wizard. And then you choose, I will type in the values that I want. If you want to select or type your values yourself, you go to next and type the options. The options are shooting, waiting, and then the last option is swimming. So you type them vertically in that column. It is only one column. Now at times they can give you a question that has two columns. If we put two columns here, it means it will give you column 2 that you must type the values. So depending on what the question wants you to have, either one column or two columns, then you finish. Now, how do we see that? When we go there, you will see the sports. It gives us two columns here for us to select. Right, so that's how we select or choose the options. Left align the numbers in the medal field. This is the medal field. The property align, you change from general to left. And then change the properties of the cell phone number as follows. Create an input mask for the entry field of the cell phone number. Now, when we talk about input mask, when it is only numbers, we put 0. So you can check my previous video, I mentioned input mask. So the input mask for the cell phone number, you put open bracket, there are 3 zeros. 0 is compulsory number. So there are 3 compulsory numbers in the bracket, followed by 7 numbers after the bracket. Then you put 7 numbers. Then if it is a letter, you put capital L. Capital L is a letter, and then 0 is also a number. Now, change the properties of the email field so that the email address should contain the @ symbol. And this is called the validation rule. So the email address validation rule, it should contain an @ symbol. And remember, I said whenever you see contain, we use star before and then star after, right? So here, contain @ so it should be star @ star. That means contain the @ symbol. Now, if it is about number, you say between 1 and 10 for validation rule. That's from 1 to 10. If it is about date, you say between maybe 1st of January 2000 and 31st December 2020. So that means from a date from 1st January 2000 up until 31st December 2020. Then if it contains, we put the keyword, or we put the asterisk. So here it should be star @ star. And then the validation text, you must write email address must contain an @ symbol. Right. So basically you are describing what the rule should be, and that is the table. So this is all about tables that you must know. We talk about the alternative rows, grid lines, and then the row height. Now, the totals command to have the number 1. How do you do the totals command? From the data sheet view, you will see the totals command here. Click on it, and then you can now do your calculation number, which is count, so that to do the number of medals. Now we move straight to the queries. It says create. Remember, there will be 2 queries for you for June examination. Create a query called QRY5_2 based on the sports table. Display only the sports field. Display only the core types of sports, and information must be sorted. Now, how do we create a query? We create a query by going to create query design. Now, the moment you click on query design, they will ask you which table should you add. So here we are going to add the table called competitors based on the question. No, it says should be the sports table. So you can double click on it. Now, when you double click or you add the table, it will be like this. What type of things we should display? Sports field. So we look for the sports and we double click on it. And then again, display only the core type of sports. So we core type of sports. So we are done with that. How do we see the core type of sports? You must run it to see. You click on run. Then you see different type of sports here. Now the question is looking for the type of sports that says the core one. Right, let's see whether it's based on the table. Yeah, so we go to the type. We need a type of sports again. Now, when you go to type of sports, we see the core and then the optional. So we want to display only the core. Now, one thing that I can advise you, my grade 11, is that you can select. If you don't know, you just select it and copy the word core if you don't know how to type it. Then under the criteria for the type of sports, you paste it. So it is call, and then when you run it, it's going to display only the call type of spouse. Right. And it says we should sort again according to the spouse. So you see the sort, and then you choose ascending. So basically, this is how we do a query. Now, again, instead of you to type call, you can just say C star. That means contain star or begin with letter C. And then you run. Just like the way we did the validation rule, and then the count if, and then the sum if. You can use the wild cards as well. Right. The last one that says create a query QRY5_3 based on ticket table. So we are creating another query. Now, if you are done and you are saving the query, you right click and say save. It will ask you to name it. Then you type the name of the query. Right. Now we are creating another query. Create query design. And the question says it should be based on ticket table. You double click on ticket table. Display only the spouse code, adult and child field. So we need a spouse code. You double click adult and child code. Only record where the limit is more than 10 for a final match must be displayed. Now, how do we see the limit? We don't see any limit here. So we need the limit field as well. You double click, but we are not going to display when we are done. Now, when you run with the limit, according to the question, when the limit is 10, more than 10. So when the limit value is more than 10, we should display. Now, we go there and choose the criteria. We say more than 10, we use greater than 10. But we don't need to display the limit, so we have to check this out, and then we have our final query. Right, so basically this is what you need to know regarding queries: how to create, how to modify, and how to sort it. They can ask you to sort also by adult. You sort either ascending or descending as well. So you can watch the video again, and then you'll be able to answer all these questions. There are so many questions for you. If you don't understand, you must ask questions also as well. Right, now let's wrap up with the HTML. We are going to wrap up with HTML. If the queries and then other things you do not understand properly, you can join the grade 12 lesson that will be starting at 6 as well. You can watch the video over again. Now for the HTML, some provinces there won't be HTML, others there will be HTML, because HTML according to the ATP is for grade 11 should be taught late. But now you must know the basics from grade 10. How to create HTML code. It will only be the basics, nothing more. Now let's start with this one. Add HTML code to display the text Willie Wood in your browser tab. Now the moment you see browser tab, that means title. So we open the HTML, you right click and choose edit in Notepad++. So where you see 6.1, that's where you must answer the question. And it says browser tab. Browser tab meaning that you must make it as browser tab meaning you must make it as title. So it should be title, and then you type Willie Wood. Then you close your title tag. Right. Now don't forget to close the head tag, because the title must be inside the head tag. So we have to close the head tag here. When you click on it and it doesn't give you the corresponding close tag, that means there's a problem there. Then add the heading 1 that says Willie Wood where indicated. Now heading 1, 6.2 is H1. H1 means heading 1. And then you close your H1. Heading 2 is H2. Heading 3 is H3. Now add a horizontal line below the heading Willie. Now horizontal line, we use HR. Now horizontal line has the size. It could be 5. It depends on the question. Horizontal line has the width equals to, let's say 70%. And then horizontal line also has the color. Remember HTML, we write the color as American English, blue, right? So the horizontal line. Add a text to change the word life and sports to a level 2 heading. So there's life and sports here. We must make it as heading 2. So we choose H2. And remember, heading style can also be aligned. Let's say align equals to center. So these are the basic text as grade 11 learner you must know. Basic. And then again, add the following text. The 7th Commonwealth game should be displayed in bold. And then the text for bold should be B. So you have to look for that one, 7th Commonwealth. Here is it. So you make it to be bold, which is B. And if you are underlining, it's U. So take note. And then the word Scottish sports must be displayed italic. So Scottish sports must be italic, which is I. So these are the basics that you must know. And then the text that starts with the wood must display on a new line, which is line break, BR. So this text must be on a new line. That is here you put BR. BR is line break on a new line. So when you see that type of question, you say BR. The word MBE for services for sports should be underlined. So we look for that one. Underline, we use U. Where you are closing it. And lastly, the question says, import the closing tag. We have done that. So the HTML must be closed. You must close the HTML. Right. They can ask you to change the background color. It's a BG color. Inside the body tag. BG color. One word equals to light blue. Light blue must be one word as well. And then they can ask you to change the text color, which is text equals to red. They can ask you to change the font color also. So we use the font tag, and font has the size, and font has also the color. So font color will be purple. And then it also has the font face. Font face is Algerian. Now then you close your font. When you say face, face is the font type. Then where the font is ending, you close it there. Where you are applying the font, you close it with the font tag. So basically grade 11, this is what you need to know. All these tag, the basics. Before, this is only for June. It's only the basics. You don't need to do the list. The list is next term and then other ones. So the basics are only for grade 11. Thank you for your precious time. This brings the end of what you need to know regarding paper 1. You can watch the video again if you don't understand anything. Thank you very much.